There's a good crowd of people here in Johnson Square behind us. It certainly has gotten bigger since we last checked in with you during the 5 o'clock hour when things were just getting underway. After nearly 11 hours of deliberation, the jury reached their verdict, finding Travis McMichael, Gregory McMichael, and William Roddy Bryan all guilty on charges of felony murder. We take a look over here. This is one of the trees we're seeing. It's feet taller than us, and this is a lot of what we're seeing in this area. The wind is pretty strong, too. You can see behind me on the ocean, the waves are pretty strong, just reflecting that wind gust. The city of Savannah is pumping the brakes on gas-powered cars. Switching to these electric vehicles, this is as close as we can get. I'm going to step out so you can see a little bit better. You can see up there the roof is ripped out and debris piled up on the floor as crews have now ripped out the back part. This building right here on Lincoln Street has been standing here since 1853, but it's now set to be demolished. The Historic Savannah Foundation says this has happened to a number of historic buildings in the city in the past year. Police say they're seeing an increase in traffic incidents involving pedestrians. Tonight, what law enforcement wants you to do while crossing the street and driving behind the wheel. That story coming up.
The day has finally come that we will get justice for Quez. The day that my family and I have prayed has finally come.
Yes, Lord.
Outside the courthouse, supporters of the Arbery family, many who have been here for the entire trial, anxiously waited for this moment. Judge Timothy Walmsley announcing the 3 men convicted in Ahmaud Arbery's murder will spend the rest of their lives in prison, 2 of the 3 without the possibility of parole. Attorney Ben Crum says the jury's verdict and judge's sentencing is a step forward in the fight for racial equality.
Think about all the black people who have been lynched in the history of America. In Georgia.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Who never ever got their day in court.
Right. All right.
Today, your son has made history because we have people who are being held accountable.
It was an emotional day for the family, one they say they've been waiting for a long time. But even though they feel justice has been served, the family says nothing will bring back the man they love.
I sat in that courtroom for 5 weeks straight, but I knew that we would come out with a victory.
Yes.
I never doubted it. And I knew that today would come.
Ahmaud, rest in peace. Yeah. Because mom and daddy got the Lord for you.
Amen.
Ben, good evening. I'm standing in the parking lot of the Visitor Center downtown right now. It's where Johnny Brown once stationed his tour bus right here behind me. That is until it was destroyed in those fires. I caught up with Brown tonight. He tells me he's overwhelmed with joy knowing that someone is being held responsible.
My whole life, my livelihood, up in flames.
We first met Johnny Brown on the morning of December 2nd when he found out his business of 20 years was torched to rubble. Now that the suspect is behind bars,
man, it's amazing. The support and the love I'm getting from this community.
40-year-old Calvin Robbins was arrested early Monday morning, charged with arson. Almost 3 weeks ago, 3 fires were set downtown near the Visitor Center parking lot, leaving 6 vehicles damaged. Fire department officials say after releasing surveillance footage, they received an overwhelming response from the community.
I mean, we literally were flooded with calls from citizens through the arson hotline, through Crime Stoppers. Some of them just called directly to us and Savannah Police Department, saying that they knew the whereabouts of the suspect.
That photo helping a Savannah police officer recognize the suspect and arrest him.
You know, bring some closure, but then again, I want some more answers as to what had to happen.
Officials say the investigation is ongoing and wouldn't release any information about a potential motive. Brown says another tour company is letting him use their buses as he works to raise enough money to get a new one.
I want to get a 2022 new bus with all the things I've ever wanted, the TVs and screens, and the tour is going to go on. The tour is continuing.
A man of faith, Brown says he's been relying on God to pull him through this challenging time. If you could talk to the person who did this, what would you say to them?
It's hard for me to say, but I forgive you. I do forgive you. I cannot hold it in my heart. I cannot hold a grudge. I forgive you.
Belinda Thompson's husband, Calvin, describes her as precious, loving, and caring, and someone who loved God and her family. Calvin tells me he's doing okay right now. He has an injured foot and some scratches on his back. But when that heals, he says he'll still have a hole in his heart forever.
just so confused and kind of just at all with all this.
This is all that's left of the place Calvin and Belinda Thompson called home for more than 40 years. Pieces of the life they built together scattered in dirt. As the Thompsons hid in a closet, the family says the tornado picked their house up off the ground, slamming it into a tree, leaving behind a disconfigured mound of debris.
I don't know how I lived through it, but my wife did. I'm gonna miss her a whole lot. She was my everything. We just left the funeral home, and I got to see my baby once more, you know, before all this goes over. And it was tough. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Calvin says he's been getting an outpouring of support from people near and far.
If it wasn't for the outreach and the love for everybody in this community, man, I mean, I'm just overwhelmed with love from people, and I'm very fortunate. All my friends, people I don't know, you know, it's just unreal.
The Thompson family is digging through the rubble, trying to find a blanket that has a family photo, a piece of Belinda they can forever hold on to. When I asked Calvin what's helping him get through this difficult time, he pointed a finger to the sky.
God put me here for something. He left me here. I don't know why, but I know why he took her, because she was ready. Maybe I wasn't ready. My wife was a Christian lady, no doubt that she's with God. One day I'll be there to see her.